Hello everybody, welcome to ZeldaSpeedRuns, broadcasting Link to the Past Randomizer Challenge Cup 2023. We got the quarterfinals for you today. It's Yukikaze versus darkened5ky, Game 3. Commentating for us, we have Star and Talon, and tracking is Scoopula. Say hello everybody.
Hello all, good evening. How are you doing, Talon?
Good evening, everyone. Glad I could jump in for this, and doing alright. How are you, Star?
Doing alright, looking forward to a good match here. This is a Game 3, as previously noted. We've got ourselves Fat Keys. So this is for AD Key Sanity. AD, of course, meaning that you need to do all the dungeons. You'll need to get all the pendants and all the crystals. You will also need to, it's also Key Sanity. So all the small keys, big keys, and maps and compasses will be shuffled in the world, with the exception that the Castle Tower small keys will be vanilla. Again, this Tower big key will still be in GT. Anything you're particularly looking forward to with this seed, Talon?
Yeah, so Key Sanity, all done like this, really can open up some wild worlds of kind of divergence depending what we find, when, where, and how. So I'm looking to see some different routes. Hopefully not a lot of follow the leader, so we can get some nice diversity from our runners.
Yep. Looking at our sprites here, we've got, I believe that's Nika from Xenoblade Chronicles, where Yuki is typical. And this guy is playing with one of the Dark Link sprites, it looks like over there. It will be Trails of Sky, MSU for Yuki, and Sky the Runner is playing with the Charlie Princess MSU, I believe. Should be going here in a little bit.
Yeah, while we have a second, we're just going to take a quick look of how these runners got here. darkened5ky started this tournament in the second round, getting past Plasma Stake in the second round, and then getting past Iceman to get here. While Yuki had a little bit longer of a run, coming from the first round over Bonnell, and then beating So Last Summer and Jupiter 2-0 in the next two rounds to make it here. So strong runners.
Very strong runners. I'm less familiar with Sky, but Yuki is a longtime member of the Francophone community. He's been part of the Challenge Cup, and I think he might have actually made main tournament last year. Consistently good eye routing, excellent execution. Should be a fun race to watch, as we have immediate divergence, got a small key to the pod, okay, number 1, in Link's house, and some money in sync. It looks like, also looking at their previous two games, Sky took game 1 and Yuki game 2.
Looks like Sky may be going for a hula hand.
Yep. And game 1 was standard boots. So giving us bombs, nice find for Yuki. Gonna have to worry less about firing for those, as I picks up some money here. And the Uncle Chest is going to be a map to get into that tower. Unfortunately, not one of the more useful ones. In Key Sanity, the maps and compasses do give you, the maps give you information on the reward of each dungeon. Crystals are the compasses are useless in this mode. They can be useful to tell you information about bosses and other modes, such as the McBoss mode that is also an option in this tournament. Both runners heading towards Kakariko now, Yuki from the north and Sky from the south.
Yeah, Sky gonna inspect some of these bushes, looking for some bombs. There's two bushes in here that are 50-50 to drop bombs every time. And yeah, looking to grab two and get some. I'm gonna head toward Kakariko from the south now.
$2 in the Lost Woods is handy for Yuki, who did not do the hula hand, so does need to get some money somewhere for the bottle vendor. That's a sword on the race game.
Yeah, Sky definitely going to use one of those bombs for that, I would assume.
I would assume so as well. It has plenty enough money with that hula hand to buy more bombs than Karak as well. Not too concerned. No! Does miss a bomb, though.
Yeah, the hula hand definitely going to pay dividends now. Just going to probably buy bombs inside the shop on the south side of Kakariko. So, not a huge loss, just a little extra steps.
Yeah, it's a little thing that only costs a couple of seconds here, but it can add up over the course of the tournament, of a race, and the tournament free. So it was because we've seen a very, very close races in this tournament so far.
I don't know, Star, you might be onto something there. An aggregate tournament, everyone runs 3 modes, total time wins.
That would be interesting. Our container on the library is probably never going to be picked up.
Yeah, not unless there's boots in Kakariko somewhere and someone just wants the easy access to the 4 hearts.
Let's see, mine's more money, her piece. The map to Schoolwoods, that's pretty nice. And $20. More money for Sky. And one of my early, I think the very first time I ever commentated for one of Yuki's races, just in general, was during the 2020 Blood Challenge, actually, where he and his opponent were frame for frame synced on parts of Ganon and ended up finishing about 7 seconds. It was a little insane. The move for this seed is a fantasy.
Well, just hit the bomb just a little too early for the chicken clip there, but blind shot we saw was hot nothing. Small key to Skull Woods there. That's nice to have one going in, makes routing a little bit easier.
And there's a hammer in the well. You can find there for our runners and a fire rod. And this is our second pot small and some more things. Yeah, our fire rod and the no, that's ice rod, sorry, I'm mixed two up by for some reason I'm just really bad at telling those apart, and I promise I'm not colorblind. The hammer and ice rod already is nice. We'll not need to go do an ice rod hunt for the ice rod, though there are many potential ice rod type items in Key Sanity, depending on how the seed shakes out. Some small keys and big keys can be quite elusive.
Yeah, I guarantee both runners very happy to see that ice rod early. Knowing it's all dungeons, you're gonna need it anyway. Let's just limit the number of crazy we have to look for.
Yep. Gotta love it as we small hunt indeed, Futon. It's not like Taylor just before the race started about how one of the races, other fan-driven races I commented during this particular challenge cup was a lovely three-way tiebreak for me at the end of groups. Fatkeys, the winner of that one finished at 2 hours and 15 minutes, which says a lot about the scene of itself, and it ended up being a really nasty hunt for a hookshot that turned out to be vanilla. So a big key in the GT big chest, locked behind 2 GT skulls in Swamp Palace. Runners were not happy around that one. Now we didn't see Yuki check the lumberjack ledge. I do wonder if Kyle will take a look at that. You are required to do. It's a little long to get to, but in this mode, since you are required to do Aga Tower eventually, there is something there, and maybe a little bit of incentive to do that a little earlier than normally would. Let's see. It's required for Yuki, and that's going to be a safe quit.
Yeah, knowing that the gas tower keys are just sitting in their vanilla spot makes that lumberjack check a little more lucrative. I understand waiting until you have boots because you can't even access it anyway, but already having a sword, if the access to Castle Tower comes early, it may be good knowledge to have, and it looks like Sky is going to check that out.
Yuki, in the meantime, is heading to South Shore, so just do the checks over here. Looks like that's some bombs, and I've got the map to swamp at the dam. Kind of appropriate placement there. Depending on whether swamp is a Griffin or a crystal, could give you some information as to where the all important swamp small key is. And Sky's gonna now go to Uncle and probably front of escape, I'd expect from here. Let's get the fire rod from Yuki. Rather soggy one, but that's a nice find to get. Nice thing to find.
Yuki gonna go ahead and head over and give us the Sagina check earlier. This is something that can really get isolated for a long time. That, if it has something good, can really separate our runners. But yeah, we're gonna see Sky go into the front of escape having that sword and hammer now.
And Akina does controls the ether here, which is an interesting item. Not going to be useful at all for right now since we're still in Light World, but that might be required for my or TR access.
Yeah, that could definitely turn into one of those fire or ice rod hunts we were talking about earlier if you need just a rogue medallion sitting around somewhere.
That's something we'll have to see later on, as we are still missing a glove and a moon pearl for Dark World access at present. There's a cane of Burna for Sky, also not useful at the moment, but may unlock a check or two later. So we'll kill on the Yuki side. And let's see what they have here. Our second skull movement small. And nothing else.
Our big item caves, with the exception of the well, really being disappointing so far.
Yeah, Max TR's nice, I guess, for Sky at least. It's on this then. You don't need the information, but it can be nice now. If a dungeon is pending, because potentially that could tell you information on what items might possibly be in GT.
Right, yeah, map's not necessarily the most important thing you want, but I mean, you won't go out of your way to pick them up, but finding one in a chest could lead to some good information down the road.
To note as usual with the not dying to bone chain guard. And there's our glove. And of course, as usual, you can also talk to the bomb shop vendor for the information on red crystals and to Hasrila for the information on the green pendant as we find the big key to find. The possibles and the big key already. Interesting.
Yeah, if we see a bow show up before Dark World access, we could see a runner just push for pod and maybe sequence break a few items, or even the boss if we really want to.
And our tracker Scoopio has a good point. That is an out-of-logic glove there, because that's in Zelda Cell. You are logically required to find the Hyrule Castle small key, which they do not have. It's the sword there on the tracker. Logically, you're supposed to get that because you could steal the key from the front of Escape and take it to the back instead. So logic does make sure you can unlock yourself out from items. See if that matters. Smokey on Lake Island.
Yeah, that's a great point. And with that fire rod, that Dark Cross check we know is in logic. Only $20, but it does say that you could go get that. Having those gloves, though, I don't think Sky is going to care too much about that Hyrule Castle small now, but it is a good point.
Yeah, it could be interesting to see where if we find that Hyrule Castle small key, if we find another pair of gloves, or if we find something else to get. Hobo has our Bombos medallion for us. Okay.
Fire rod, bombos, glove, hammer.
3 medallions in kind of awkward locations today. Hobo and Nagina both simply have the way NPCs that see when Sky gets to either of those. Most may not necessarily require that fire rod has been found, so we will need bombos for Ice Paneless, but we still might need it, or either from our Meyer or TR access. Let's see for a green key. It looks like they're got this key to desert, a book, cave, and game.
Your desert starter pack there.
I think I know where he's coming after Easter.
Part of me would almost want to go to the desert now, but should you find the desert big in Eastern, that's a quick clear.
It is. It's tempting either way.
TR Tracker saying that if a romp could scream really loud. What I'm really interested to know is, with Yuki doing the Uncle Start, if they do find another glove along the way, and what glove that was found in Escape is actually the bits, it could be a really long time before they get down there.
Yeah, because if you don't go to escape early, especially since with Uncle starred. You know, that's just not something you want to go back to real quickly. Yeah, Yuki just might if he gets Star World access before that particular glove, and then just goes to do everything available with Star World access because they have a lot of items. That could be bad.
Yeah, for as empty as some of the 5-item caves were, the game has been very generous about leading up to, you know, here's both rods, here's a sword, a hammer, like lots of good stuff. Boots and Saha.
Yep. Boots, okay, Boots, Book, and the Desert Small were all from Saha, which is... I'm pretty sure we know where Yuki's going after he finishes off the front of Eastern here. No Bicky and no Bow, so unless he manages to find both of those next couple checks, he'll be out of here real quick.
Yeah, we see Sky heading over to Saha, one of the last really good places left so far in this scene, so they're going to grab their boots soon too.
Bumble was on Hobo, and neither was Akina, yeah. One last check both for Yuki here in Eastern. See if Sky chooses to continue to Eastern, or if he heads straight for Desert with the items in Saha's head here.
On all Dungeon Key Sanity modes like this, I'm very much in favor of the Eastern Rush. Saha or Eastern usually seems to hold on to something good, at least one item, in this case, 3.
Yeah. As here's the Desert starting pack, read the Sky. Who is
It's so ridiculous.
It really is. And someone in chat asking what mode do we have. It's 10 keys. And yeah, Eastern was a bust. He is interestingly going to do what Bonkrok's back of escape first here, it looks like.
Well, they'll do Bonkroks, but without a glove, they're not doing the back of escape from
Okay,
here.
you're right. Oops, brain hard.
I was.
Grab something for the Desert Big here before heading to.
Oh, if this is Desert Big, could you imagine?
Nope, it's our first GT Small, which is going to be useless for quite a while, as Sky has definitely forgotten the it's down the chat.
Oh no.
They'll realize eventually, but they are definitely walking.
Yeah, I was a little surprised Sky didn't go ahead and grab the back of escape, finding that glove early.
Yeah, that's a good point as well. Yuki finding out the Lumberjack Ledge instead. Display me boots. Sky just got another second go out of Saha's head alongside the book and the Desert Small, so Yuki is sprinting right on off the desert at this point, I'm pretty sure.
Oh no, Sky actually kicked up some dust. Nice chest turn. Sky actually kicked up some dust, grabbing that pot, and still didn't notice they have boots. Oh no.
Oops.
And want to say good evening, Josh. How you doing tonight? Actually, all of chat, how's everyone doing? Welcome to this Game 3 between both runners in the quarterfinals of the Challenge Cup. The winner of this match, I believe, gets the pleasure of Kayston in the next round.
You'd be correct, Kayston, who just secured their spot in the semifinals this morning, I believe. Or earlier this afternoon, I forget. Doing alright myself. It's a little bit too hot here in the northeast. The high was 87 Celsius for 87 Fahrenheit, 31 Celsius earlier, and it's still right now.
87 Celsius, what? Whoa!
That's a brain fart. It's too hot brain fart today.
Yeah, too hot, brain not work.
And yeah, Desert here, providing a moon pearl for Yuki, so that's why the cave gave us this items in Saha's hut.
Okay, that's not enough to really move any progression forward, so what else are we finding in Desert here? It's gotta be something...
Yeah, because our glove is still out of logic, and we are running out of checks.
It's like a bottle, maybe, for like Sick Kid, or... Hyrule Castle as well?
Small key to pod.
I really thought that was going to be Hyrule Castle.
Same, honestly. But that is our third pod small. We do have 3 pod smalls.
Oh no.
I know that's bad for Yuki. That's a glove. He doesn't want to see. He doesn't know this, but it is Bitter and Zelda Solid. It's going to be a really hard check for him to get back to at this point, especially since he knows that Lumberjack is dead, so he's not going to rush Tower anytime soon. Which would incentivize him to get back there.
So, yeah, we know that now the logical mitts are sitting in Zelda's cell. Sky had gotten that out of logic. So going into Dark World, they're going to have hammer and mitts access. They're going to be able to just go wherever they please.
Yeah. Sky has finally realized, no, I have boots. Oops. And there's Blue Mail for Yuki.
Okay, male. That's not terrible with the low heart count right now.
Not too bad.
Well, I mean, considering you can just go and do 4 heart moth, that Blue Mail might be worth quite a bit.
Yeah. Yeah, that's our insult to solve for those who missed earlier on Sky's side. We had a logic behind the Hyrule Castle Small. Of course, Sky doesn't much care, and Yuki isn't gonna much care either. The bigger issue is that Yuki just has so many other things to do now that he has Darkhold access and all of these items they have. And with Lumberjack confirmed dead for both runners, Yuki doesn't have any real reason to get back there in a hurry.
Now, with the big key and 3 smalls, I would be thinking pod all the way. There,
There's
well,
our
okay,
Hyrule Castle
alright,
Small.
maybe.
Also, we've got Medallion % already.
Knowing where the mitts are, that's a little more hype of a hype cave with that small key, but not going to give it too much more credit.
Now, Hera and Ice Pals are 2 red crystals today. Hopefully that Hyrule Castle Small at least puts, reminds Yuki that that is going to be in logic. It is in logic, and he may want to check that at some point. Now, he's got other places to be. Can you check out Stumpy here? Stumpy to dig game, and then see where he routes after that. This guy's gonna pick up his ether from Nagina right now.
Yeah, I think for Yuki to go to get those mitts, something's got to happen to where they last locate early, or they get access to the big bomb pretty quick. To kind of force their way over there, but it's gonna be a rough locate, I think.
It is.
Yuki, though, looking to turn a profit here in the dig game.
14 digs and just a marathon. I'm going to bother picking it up. Here's the big hit of Wire on King's Tomb.
Yeah, still being pretty far for access for that, but always nice to have that in the pocket before you ever have to go in.
Yep. So yeah, gonna do back escape now and get his blue mail. Who's ahead? That's a good question. Yuki is technically behind those mitts right now, but otherwise they're pretty close in terms of progression and checks done, I'd say. Yuki into Dark World slightly earlier due to skipping the front of escape, but we're only 20 minutes into Fair Keys. It's hard to give a definitive. You can't really give a definitive lead this early into a seed, as we're going to see a pet check for Yuki.
Yeah, having to go through Lost Woods to hit the Dark World on this side, I am perfectly fine with this check.
It's and that's a good guess. No thanks.
Yay!
No, Tamil Talk. That's it. Now you know where the boss is. That's the compass. Pretty sure.
Yeah, I believe that's the compass. Wouldn't it say, like, you could access the boss or something?
That's what I was thinking, yeah.
Yeah, since compasses don't really do anything in this mode, it's not specific about what compass it is. If it was a map, it would say, now you know where such and such is. If it was a boss key, it'd be something like you can now access, or a large key for X. If it's not specific, I believe it's a compass. Nice powder.
Powder is now. If only they could find a mirror, that would be a real quick check to turn in.
I am all for one who enjoys single dipping a dungeon whenever I can. So not having a boat. All right, I'm gonna eat my words.
Okay.
I can't believe someone didn't go to pod. Never mind.
Game knew exactly what you were going to say there, Talon.
Thanks, Yuki. Wow.
Sky getting Wallmaster, that was unintentional. And speaking of compasses, there's the one's desert, so that's not. I don't really care, again. The other reason, too, with why I think it's compass when it says, now you know where the boss is because you don't see this in this mode, but in one of the other modes in this turn, which is Big Boss, they have Compass Shuffle and Boss Shuffle. The compasses do tell you which boss is in each dungeon. You can check the map and see, and while you're in the dungeon and see the icon of the boss on the map, nice Samaria in the back of Skullwood, or in the Skullwoods, and a nice small Yuki. Of course, you would like to have the Samaria to get that check a little faster, but it's nice to get early, although, PR's a little suspicious at the rate we're going. We've got both rods, we've got Samaria, we've got Mitz and Hammer, and we'll be know where all three medallions are.
Oh yeah, if I could access the mountain, I would very much be jumping on a TR dip. And Yuki not even going to check the front of Skullwood, it's just going to bounce out. But having that bow, I maybe could see why. Hopefully, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong again, who knows.
Where is he going? Although, yeah, good point I haven't thought about is that we have 0 TR keys right now, so we do need a few of those to beat TR.
We see Sky going to go ahead and take on Mothula here. 2 hearts. Did grab that blue mound on the back of Escape, but this is still going to be a tough fight.
It is. Fighter Sword, 4 hearts, blue mail. Gonna use the Cane of Burna here to help a little bit. As a safety. Yuki is actually getting around to Pyramid Ledge here first. I was wondering where he was going and misses that. Unfortunately, nothing there and no mirror to round up the Mitzi will need eventually. And there's that for Sky.
Yeah, I applaud that attempt. They were probably more than halfway there, but that's a rough go.
I was going to say, I think you might want to just go check the bridge chest here, in case that's a heart container, or a sword, or a red mail. You know, something to make this fight a little less terrible.
Even a bottle of green would help, because you just unleash that fire. Bomb's not going to help that much, though.
Any kind of potion, green, red, or blue, could have been helpful there, really, but nope.
Yeah, I agree.
Game was like, no, you're going to just do low percent moth. Or pretty close to low percent.
Yeah, Sky gonna give it another attempt.
And Yuki is going to pawn now. Has 3 small keys, the big key, bow, and hammer. Can't do most of this dungeon. We'll have to see how he uses those 3 keys, but he cannot from here. There's our swamp small, okay. To trolling Sky here. According to our tracker, Scoop did a quick, a pod check. Apparently, according to Yuki's map check a minute ago, TR is appended, so yeah, we might see a TR small over 3 in GT, depending on how the seed goes. Round number 2 with Moth for Sky. He is going to skip the pod Stelfo's basement and big chest right now. Does not want to use his limited small keys there.
Good fight. Oh
Nicely
man,
done.
I was holding my breath there for a little bit, but good patience.
Yeah, man, only $300 for his effort, as that's a hook shot for Yuki.
I was gonna say, pod's seeming to come up really shallow so far. That hook, though, giving us a little bit better of a story.
Yuki is going to set up for a hammer jump here, save the small key on that. Kenbo was in the brewery. So Sky will have that in a minute or two once he goes to the village, because I'm assuming that's probably where he's going. So he heads south from here. Yuki?
Yuki?
You have the big key.
Oh no.
We can see his personal tracker on the comms page. He has a mark there. I am not sure why he just skipped that. Big chest. I would have liked to have that hard container a minute ago.
That was savage.
And I think... Well, I can't tell what Yuki's doing right now, actually, in the
I think
maze
they're
here.
trying to death warp.
Yeah, it's kind of hoping he's trying to make his way back through to the big chest, but no such luck. I think, or... yeah. Really hoping for Yuki's sake that big chest is not acquired, because he's seemingly forgotten that, as that's a very nice mirror game.
Yeah, Yuki not wanting to dip into Skull Woods. That mirror would have really paid dividends in that little spot there trying to death warp.
Yeah, 6 hearts in Blue Mill is enough to make a death warp a little slow.
Oh.
That's a big key on Bumper Ledge. We're going to want the cape, potentially.
So with Ice Palace being a crystal, we know the flippers cannot be hidden in GT, so we are flippers away from a clearable Skull Woods as well. Swamp Palace, I know what I mean.
I was going to say, Skull Woods?
Yeah. It's actually not that hot here in the Midwest. I'm just dumb.
Yeah, I've got a fan blowing in my face that keep me at least somewhat cool.
Thanks, Gugula. He's got my back.
For those asking about the bow earlier, there it is for Sky, and $300 is not worth it. Big key chest for Yuki.
So with the 3 small keys, that hook shot is in logic. So it kind of feels like that's what you were kind of supposed to pull out of pod early.
Yeah, and Yuki has definitely forgotten about his pod big key, which was a nice round cave for those who didn't see it earlier, as he just left without meeting. Oops.
Yeah, and I believe they actually saved a small key, so it kind of feels like Yuki was saving that to beat the boss.
That's what I was thinking too, but... okay.
At some point in time, I would think we're going to eventually see a kind of look on their face, like, oh no, I totally forgot.
Yeah, because we can see the runner's full personal shapes on the commentary page, including their personal tracker, so we know that Yuki does in fact have that Mickey marked. And also Yuki's face game. That doesn't count one. Meantime, though, we're going to see a mountain climb for Yuki. Unfortunately, he does not have those mitts for front of escape either, so can't do Dark Death Mountain. But there are still a lot of checks available in Lake Death Mountain, and he did also just get the Harriswell out of the last check he did in Pod on Stalfos. So you can actually do most of Hera except the big chest here with the hookshot he picked up from Pod 2.
Well, even more importantly, that hookshot gives them access to the east side of the mountain so they can get to Hera. So I'm not surprised if we're going to see this mountain play from Yuki. This is totally what I would do too.
Yeah.
Again, out of logic without a flute or a lamp, but meh. The runners don't need no lamp.
Interesting choice of minigame music here for Sky. I noticed on the TP TP SU. Always interesting to see to hear what that is chosen. Now, let's see what Paradox says for Yuki or other high density item keeps it, but pretty much all the snooze. Even the front of Thieves don't look that interesting. Red mail and the small key to Meyer, okay.
Sky having those mitts going to be able to do the Smith chain real easy with this mirror. So far, good, efficient, full clear routing going on from Sky's side.
Time for Paradox. Not too much so far. Smoking the TR for Sky, smoking the Pod and a
Oh, good, a mushroom.
Patch Blast! Also, finding a Pod Smoky just after you left is always fun. It's the first TR small for it. I had a brain fart for a second.
Yeah, it was in Hammerpeg sitting there. Yeah, and to what you were saying earlier, the equipment for TR was pretty fast and forthcoming. A key would probably look pretty lucrative right now.
Yeah, because we've already got both fire we've got both rods, we've got all 3 medallions from Yuki's side. That's a big key on the floating island.
Goes a nice swag backwards powder there from Sky. Appreciate that.
Nice. I didn't catch what the item was on Magic Pad. What was it? Nothing on Ether Tablet, which is good because we don't have a second sword to pick those tablet items up yet.
Yeah, chat just saying it was a piece of heart. But that big key sitting on the floating island is just another thing that Sky, when they get to the mountain, will be able to get first trip. And those items and checks are really going to start adding up soon.
Yeah, because Yuki has not the mitts nor that mirror to get that floating island check. It's in front of Escape, and mirror is in the front of Skull Woods, which Yuki also skipped. The key to there's another small key to TR. That's 2. You need a minimum of 3 to clear it, 4 to full clear. And that's a pair of flippers for Sky by K45.
Yeah, this is probably going to be the end of their route, so I would guess they'll do the basement last without having a mirror to get out of the basement easy. Wow, okay.
Speaking of TR smalls...
That's 3. If they find the big key, they can get to the end. I'm sorry, Sky.
Sky can get to the end, yeah, and beat the place if he so chooses, because okay, game.
Okay, so we were asking about flippers and they showed up. We asked about TR keys and they showed up. I mean, what else do we want? Can we get a flute? Why not? Throw it out there. Flute on more?
Flute's about the only thing we don't have in terms of major items. Well, in swords.
Oh yeah, great point, actually.
Not ironically, we don't have that much missing.
I saw that big key and I'm like, that's TR, holy hat.
Right? No, but it is the big key to Skullwoods instead. Hopefully that pushes Yuki back to Skullwoods. We don't want him to find that mirror and cane.
Yeah, that actually could be a good advantage. Having 7 hearts and red mail is going to make that moth fight just that much easier. And then having that big key, if it has an item, is another one of those things that for Sky could be a long time before they go back and get. So it could be a benefit. And assuming that they continue on the path and do the Smith chain like Sky did with their mirror. Oh wait, no mitts, never mind. I take it back. I was thinking, oh, if they go to K45, get the flippers, already have the small key for Swamp, can just go ahead and go in and finish that off as well.
The key on Floating Island would be the most dirty. Let's see. Well, we're missing once the Eastern Desert, Harris, Swamp. We're missing a lot. We've only got the big keys to Pod, the Skull Woods, and Mire, so there's a few different ones I could kind of press. Arrows on Baba's tablet, so our book not paying off on that, though very much required to get our Moon Pearl from Desert earlier. Second glove HM music, the second glove for Yuki, which was actually the first one Sky found earlier this seed, was bits of Zelda Cell, as we get the Thieves Town small key. Okay, game.
Just the Tower of Keys.
Sure seems like it. A red ring, because why not? It was in the first check. More slow death orbs for Yuki, that is not fast. We're gonna see what the Lake Island small key is for Sky. Mire, okay, well, we don't especially need a second Mire small, but sure, game.
Yeah, always happy to see one, but after that, you're kind of like, whatever.
Sky, not checking Hobo just yet, is going to take this route over to Pod, it looks like. Hobo has the Babas, but I didn't see it earlier. Which we don't know if it's required since we don't have Flute to check the Mire area, and Sky hasn't been up the mountain yet to check the TR entrance. This is gonna be Babas rooms, that's good. Yuki goes next, because he is running out of checks.
I would guess this is a dive right back into Skullwoods.
That would make sense. With his,
it's a much more comfortable fight now.
Yeah.
And to be clear, I don't blame for Yuki not going in there to put this fight off. Four Hearts Fighter Sword Moth, for any runner, is a rough fight.
Yeah. Like, both runners are capable of it, and we saw Sky pull it off, and I know Yuki can do it as well, but just because he can't do it doesn't mean he wants to do it.
Yep, agree.
Doing Pyramid Legend on his way to Pod now. He does have he has the same key count as he did when he came in here, 3 small keys and the big key. I really hope Sky hasn't forgotten he has that big key. It is marked on his tracker.
Yeah, if they grab that...
I'm a little worried about Yuki on the Helma and the big chest, because he forgot he had the big key, apparently.
Yeah, which was strange, because they seemed to save a small key like they were waiting for the boss, so that's something we may want to ask about. But yeah, we're about to learn something very important if Sky goes for that big chest.
I assume it was presumably I think it was likely a brain fart from Yuki's end. I don't see a reason why you'd walk right past the big chest otherwise. But I hope for his sake that he hasn't orphaned another item there, because we already know those bits are in a very tough location for him. He's going to get Mira and Samaria out of Skull Woods here, which will give him, he does have the Swamp Small, so that'll give him full clear of the Swamp Palace.
Well, so long as they go down to 45 to get those flippers, yeah.
Yeah, if he does that, which I think he might after this. But I hope he doesn't find too much else. We have seen most of the major items in the game, and the midst do unlock a few different dungeons, so I think he gets over there sometime.
I'm struggling to think outside of 45 what they really have access to. Even with the mirror and the Samaria out of here, it doesn't really open anything for them without the mitts, so I feel like they're going to get funneled into 45 anyway.
I think so. I mean, it's 45 King's... not King...
Well, no, you're right. The mirror does give them King's Tomb, yeah.
King's Tomb and Graveyard Ledge can be paired together, I guess, for that, and then Catfish.
Yeah, you're right. They could actually just do north checks. So the north checks are going to work out pretty well, so that could be something interesting.
We did see King's Tomb earlier. There's the mirror for Yuki. So we haven't seen... We did, but Sky definitely like more routing the Bomb Rock, so we don't know what the Dark World is. So that's where the Minor Big Keys keeps to him, and pretty much could
Right.
be good for Yuki. Yeah, checks those two together, so...
Well, even if they take the north checks all the way to Catfish, it could be great for them because it looks like Sky, didn't grab that either, favoring Pod, which makes sense, but it still could be something that really bails them out if there's something there. Even if it's something like a sword, that might give an advantage one way later.
Yeah, that's for sure, and... Well, if Yuki does the northern checks before K45, he could potentially mirror to the store area. I'm pretty sure he knows Ant's the fake flipper, and they do have equipment for it. Wouldn't be the most fun, but that is a thing he could potentially choose to do.
No, that's a great point. Yeah, and that's more checks that Sky hasn't done yet, so that could be well on their way of something they want to do. It's a good point.
Alright, Harmless Hellway not going to bite Yuki, as he chose to use his third small key on the Pod Big Key chest instead of Harmless Hellway. When routing Pod with 3 small keys, if you want to clear as much as possible, you cannot open the main door in the front, you do have to go through right side every time. Which can be a little annoying for routing, and you also have to make a choice between Harmless Hellway and a Big Key chest as to which one you do, because you cannot do both without locking yourself out of either the back or help. Well, without locking yourself out of Helpless Lore, essentially, and that's... in AD, you don't want to lock yourself out of a boss, usually.
No, if you can go in there and finish it off, you do it, and then what you didn't get becomes last location. We did see the big chest for Pod, just $100, so that's great for Yuki. Not missing anything important there.
Now, one thing Yuki wasn't able to do well in the Pod area earlier is, of course, it didn't have that mirror, so it cannot finish Eastern. It's only one check, and they did both clear the front of... or 2 checks. They did both clear the front of Eastern earlier, but Sky will be able to finish that after this as well.
I think we're still waiting on the big key for Eastern.
I think... oh, wait, no, never mind, you're right. I forgot about that. Good point, so ignore that.
Yeah, and as we're talking, yeah. Yeah, great fight from Yuki. That hammer, red mail, just able to go down there, face tank, and put the sticks to the moth. Definitely saving some time.
Yuki, I think, was thinking about mirroring there, but is going to look out here, and we'll see where he routes next. His K45 is only 1 check to the south, versus if he heads east, he's got a lot of checks out that way. Not a lot, but relative to his current situation, I think the North Dark World is about the densest place he has right now. I'm also not sure what he was killing things for there.
I think he was trying to set up a water walk here. Interesting from Sky, wanting to route the right side, 1 extra time just to grab that Stelphos drop down for that. Ended up being the Hera Small, which I'm sure feels like it could be quite a lot, but that's a really, really slow route, made even slower by going around 1 more time.
Yep, it is, and that's on the downsides of it. Sky is tentatively ahead with mitts right now, yes, Ken. The longer Yuki goes without them, the worse the situation gets for him. Right now, I think he really wants to find something on his North Dark World checks here. And for his sake, I think he probably does want to go route his water checks in as well with this area near from Catfish. These are some checks that Sky will not be getting back to for a while.
Yeah, luckily for Yuki, the Smith Chain really didn't give anything to Sky, but it does leave to K45, which we know is important. But it also meant that Yuki could not do Dark Death Mountain their first trip up, which Sky will be able to. So that is time that, unfortunately, Yuki is giving up. But we'll have to see if it leads to anything major.
Because that's the thing, is that we're not missing much in the way of major items. We need a flute, and we need a second sword, and that's about that. We're missing a few different big keys right now, I think, is our biggest issue. We know once I'm floating out, and know there's a bumper ledge. good chance we'll need the cape for the one-off bumper ledge. Because we're missing. We only have 3 big keys right now, which is not a lot.
Well, and to what you said about the items and them almost having them all, it's exactly correct. But more importantly, I think big keys is all we really need left. The small keys we have pretty much gets us where we need to go. Leave some checks behind, but you could still get there.
And we've got most of the Fetch Quest small keys too. We've got the Desert Small, we've got the Hero Small, we've got the Thief Small. Yeah, it's really
nice turn jump second try.
Yep. Alright, Helma's was nothing. That's also good for Yuki, as that is crystal number 2 for Sky.
Yeah, Yuki getting a little bailed out for Pod, not having anything else besides the Swamp Small and the hook shot, but still something they're going to have to go back and do.
But to turn in the mushroom, something I forgot he could route with the other checks in this area. And this looks like a swamp play for Sky, potentially. Or not. Never mind.
Maybe they want Mountain first?
Seems like it.
Hoping maybe potentially find maybe the Swamp Big on the way. Or even Ice Big, and you can do them both when you're down there. I don't know.
Yeah, that's a possibility.
So what's the best thing that you could find on Catfish right here? Thieves Town Big, probably?
Thieves Town Big, TR Big would be good, actually, because Sky doesn't have that either, and we don't know where it is.
Thieves Town Big would get them closer to K45, though. Oh, Compass, never mind.
Would.
Never mind.
So that's not it. And Yuki is going to set up an Ansel Fake Flipper here. The basic idea behind this is that the game only has so much memory to load animations. Load sprites, and the splash animation counts as a sprite. So you just overload the screen with a couple of arrows and a bomb, and voila! There's a few different things you can use for an Ansel Fake Flipper. He chose bombs and bow. You can also use Cane of Samari and boomerangs. But there's a few different ways of doing it. Like, Zora Ledge is nothing, so does not have to do a second Ansel Fake Flipper for that. Having fun to get that one's a little harder, I think, of an Ansel. And Zora's a skip, fortunately for Yuki.
Yeah, the Fish Twins not really giving us any hope here.
No. Oh, is this one escape for Yuki?
Well, with the exception of K45, I don't know that they have anything really left, so this is the best density they have. So we know this is a very, very good thing. And luckily, again, with the exception of hitting Dark Death Mountain on their first trip, mitts haven't led to anything. So this is probably the best worst-case scenario.
Agreed. It does, unfortunately, mean that he might put out this Flipper Slipper a little longer, so currently that hasn't been particularly consequential either. We'll see.
Right, but same thing. I mean, the mitts are going to get them, what, Ice Palace access, Dark Mountain? I mean, it's pretty limited what it opens as well. So they'll get there eventually, but yeah, you're right. Getting the flippers first probably would have been the better shout. Well, no, I don't think so.
No, because then he would have gone to Swamp Palace.
Right, yeah, who knows what they would have found in Swamp Palace that could have sent them who knows where. So, no, I guess if you're gonna go for something, this we know is going to be the better choice.
And really, this one, the forgetting about Todd Big here and Todd earlier was just a plain old error, but it's more understandable that Yuki skipped the Random Escape for a while just because he had so many other things to do. This you give a lot of items early.
Right, and having a fourth small key, Yuki now when they go back in can grab the vanilla big key chest if they want to, which both runners left behind. They're slightly more incentivized to go there, whereas Sky is gonna last locate anything that's left in pod if there's anything at all.
Oh, was it Yuki got the Harmless Sully? I honestly forgot which of the 2 6 key lock checks he skipped early. He got.
I don't believe he did either of them.
Oh, no.
Did he?
You're right.
Oh, no, wait, he did
wait,
do...
no,
You're right. He did do it.
I was trying to think if he did that, but I was like...
I believe that... No, because they... I thought they had done the Dark Maze from the top. So I don't think they went to Hellway. But they... I guess I don't remember.
Yeah. Can't remember, because, Yuki, whether or not he did either 6-key lock check-in pod, because I don't honestly remember. And our trackers as unsure as we are.
Yeah, Sky I know did the Hellway, but I thought... If they would have done one of the 6-key checks, I would have thought they would have done Vanilla Big Key. I don't know. We'll figure it out when they get back there. They got to go back eventually.
Yeah.
So it looks like Yuki's going to take their mitts and do the Smith Chain.
Which is good for him. He will get his flippers that way, which he needs.
Yeah, we'll be able to mop up these checks and then hopefully go right into Swamp.
Yeah, and Sky's done with Hera. Yuki will also get his third TR small Smith chain. I was wondering where Sky's third was. At the moment, we're missing the big keys to Eastern Desert, Thieves, and TR. We're missing 7 big keys in total, 2 of which are in known freestandings. And then we are also... The pendant big keys can be in GT, so that is the Swamp, and so we know Swamp and TR pendants, don't know where third. The Crystal big keys depend on the dungeon. Some of them are logically required for them, and that's more complicated because we don't have a lot in the way of dungeon reward information. Since it is an ADC, they haven't been particularly diligent about map picking up or checking the map. And yes, we need a sword and flute as well. You do need a master sword to compare. They can do everything else in the game with a fighter sword and hammer if they really need to. But you cannot damage Ganon without a master sword. That is a hard requirement. Getting the bucket of disappointment that is Paradox Cave.
Yeah, much like Yuki before, getting that 4th pod key, and you're like, oh good, I was just there.
Yep. Yuki almost leaving the purple chest behind. You do still need it. You can't leave it behind just yet since you're doing key 45. And there's the slippers. So with his routing, I think it'll make sense for him to head on over to Swamp Palace after turning in purple chest, since it's going to be just in the area.
Yeah, and if I'm Yuki seeing those flippers, especially after just getting the mitts, I'm pretty ecstatic with that find. Because you're right here. You know, you've got everything you need except the big key, but meh. Go in there, beat it. If you really want to, go into ice, you can beat it except for the big key as well. You know, you can just mop these 2 up on a natural route, so...
Yeah. Sky ahead? That's a good question. Yuki has lost a little efficiency in getting mitts later. He hasn't been able to do Dark Death Mountain. Just entirely unrelated to item for not having those items. Also, just entirely forgot he had the pod big key to finish that place. There's the ice pick for Sky. Hookshot Cave. I don't want the big keys we want, game. And Hermes.
I beg to differ. Having not done ice yet, I'm pretty happy seeing that key.
I guess, although I think Sky was probably more hoping for that either that one or the one on Floating Island, which is what he's going for right now, is going to be that TR big key.
Oh, 100%. You're absolutely right. If this is the TR key, I am 100% going in and clearing that dungeon.
So, we did get a check on the TR medallion earlier from Sky, though. bomb boost seems right to our tracker, and there it is. Speaking of things, we do actually potentially need a cape as well as far as items go, because we do know there is a big key on Bumper Ledge. We are missing 5 big keys to Eastern Desert, Hera, Swamp, and Thieves. And, most of those big keys are hard required, so good chance we need it. Now, there's Thieves Big, speaking of. You wanted a friendly seed? Indeed, Scupula. I mean, the seed has been friendly with items. I'm not so sure about the keys.
Well, even keys now. We only need 2 more.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
But there was a moment of hope where that TR key was, and TR being a pendant for Yuki. If they found everything else they needed except that, they just get the big key on their way to GT and everything's great. But now that Thieves Town big sitting up there, meh.
Yeah. Yuki is going to have to make a run, is going to have to go back down the mountain to do Thieves Town, though we don't know if Thieves is a crystal or a pendant. Yeah, and yes, Lava Chest is going to be orphaned unless the 4th TR spell is somewhere in TR.
A vanilla small key, who could imagine?
Fun. The game does like to do that sometimes. Instead, we've got our first bottle almost an hour in and a hair big. I'm actually kind of impressed we just got our first bottle barely sub-hour. I honestly forgot we don't have a single one of those until now.
Right, but that's a great time for it to show up, especially with Trinex looming.
Oh, absolutely.
No magic. That green bottle's gonna be pretty great.
Yeah.
And even that TR big with the hook shot, getting back up to, the Hera big with the hook shot, getting back to that Hera big chest, not that difficult. So it's another great spot for that.
In Yuki's position, left side swamp makes a lot of sense here. I'm curious to see what this is. Because depending on what Sky's situation when he gets here, left side swamp might not be as appealing a play. And check, well, Scupula, the Thieves Town big key is going to be a thing. I guess, yeah, you can check Route Bottle with doing all of the back of Thieves Town, since, you need a key to Thieves to do the back of Thieves as we get our last lighter spell at TR, which really doesn't help. There's our Master Sword.
Something, sword and swamp, something.
Yep. And the map to Thieves. Thanks. Compass game. Compass to Mire in the Swamp Compass chest. So far, Master Sword, the only substantial item in Swamp Palace. Friend of TR giving us the Hera Big is. For Sky, let's see what Mimic Cave has, but. Oh, never mind. Getting a little lost. Whatever down for Yuki, picking up $20 and a heart piece. And just a Bloopy and Mimic Cave, so not really required. Okay, came with Podsmall and Deck of Swamp.
Well, routing the rest of Pod will be a little easier for Yuki, I guess.
Yeah, now he can just open the front door, which is nice.
Yeah, it really feels like these dungeons, it's find your 1 or 2 things and then just go to the boss, because they're pretty barren. You know, here's your one breadcrumb and then just go.
Yeah, most of our items happen in the overworld. We're surprised the lantern yet. Well, the lantern hasn't really locked anything. They got the fire rod super early, and so far, helmet had nothing. Helmet had nothing. We didn't need to. The pod dark maze didn't have anything. I don't think the lamps really locked anything much of note yet.
Yeah, I'm on board with our tracker. It feels like lamp, like front of Ice Palace or something silly.
Yeah. Speaking of Ice Palace, I think that's where Yuki's going. Probably a quick detour to the Lake Island Small Key while he's in the area, but this is going to be a play device. Lake Island Small Key was player smalls, which he'd really be particularly happy to see, but it does.
This guy gonna take the safety door. Can't blame him here.
Yep. There's a bottle.
That's
Zero's providing us with two of our first two bottles, our Harabig and a White Small, probably the most valuable dungeon so far.
that Master Sword was pretty nice on Laser Bridge. That's probably pretty welcome
That's
going into
true,
this fight.
Yeah, that's gonna be nice though, for sure. So we do know where three of our four swords are between our runners. Yuki is guaranteed to get that sword off Laser Bridge. We'll see if Sky ends up in the left side swamp though. We do an icebreaker glitch here, skyrocketing on Trinex.
Great icebreaker first try there from Yuki.
Nice. Both heads down for Sky. And that is a Desert Big at the Ice Palace H room. And here's off Trinex. And that is pendant number 1 for Sky.
So we are Eastern Big from no mode, I believe.
Potentially. Well, we know it's a 50. We now know it's a 50-50 between Eastern and Swamp Bigs on Bumper Ledge. And if that is the Eastern Big, we'll need a cape.
Oh, great point. Oh, yeah, well,
Yeah,
never
that.
mind. We still need a flute, too.
Also that.
And then, you know, it'd be really nice to find a lamp for Agate Tower, but, you know.
Yeah, by the time they'll get there, they'll be fine. So it would be nice to have, for sure. We're gonna go back for the Hero Big test for Sky, makes sense.
I would have put money that that stupid lamp was just sitting in Ice Palace.
Honestly, it would make sense of how the seat's going, but so far no sign of it. That Desert Big is the only thing. Never mind. That is the Mickey to Eastern, so that's a Swamp Big on Bumper Ledge. They hope they never find that cape.
Just go to Ice Palace, get all your big keys. Wow.
Apparently. So, yeah, flute from no mode. And that's a map wire we don't need. So let's see, Yuki's gonna be able to finish off Pod Easter, and perhaps, I think, maybe do those two before going Desert in case, you know, Flute's at the end of one of those dungeons. And then Thieves Town, then we'll see where he goes after that. Does need the Thieves Bag off the mountain before he can go back. Might be disinclined to go back up the mountain just yet without the TR Big, which we unfortunately know is on the mountain.
Well, I would guess that they're just going to knock out these two dungeons in the east and then head to the mountain without any good density plays and get the rest of the keys they need. Whereas we'll see Sky do Thieves Town and then wrap south to grab those two dungeons that we just saw Yuki take care of.
That's true. Can Flute be in GT? It's possible. We don't know what our third pendant is. It could be Meyer, and if Meyer is a pendant, it could be in GT. But, well, we don't know what our third pendant is. We logically need a lamp, neither runner. So.
If I'm these runners, though, as I'm gathering the items I need for dungeons, I'm just dungeon clearing at this point, assuming whatever I need that's last is in GT.
Pretty much.
Yuki, you... Oh, he's okay. It's like he already opened it. Oh, never mind. Green pendant. Smart play. It's like you already opened pod, bud.
Yeah. And, well, that was the answer. I think we did see the Meyer map a few minutes ago, but I can't remember where it was.
Well, between Eastern and Thieves Town, we're about to learn everything else we need to know.
Yeah.
It kind of feels like it's going to be Meyer is the last pendant, just with how things are shaking up, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, Yuki did do the vanilla big key chest earlier.
Okay, yeah, because he's heading straight to the back to clear out the big chest and Harmless Hellway. We have full cleared pod. We have full cleared pod between the two runners. Sky never did the big key chest. Yuki forgot he had the big key and didn't do and chose big key chest over Harmless Hellway in his first trip. Big chest is just some bombs. Until Steve's Town back. So far, really not paying out with much of anything, though. There's also just not much of anything left to find.
Overall, both our runners have cleared a majority of this game very well, and at the 111 mark have done pretty well blazing through this.
Agreed. Showing off why they are both in the Challenge Cup quarterfinals. That is a crystal for Sky. Giving us a heart container. Looks like we're going to see Eastern first from Sky, so we know this is Alice. Okay, never mind. I was like, I think in this situation, when you can clear all the dungeons you can clear, you'd go Ice Swamp before back to Eastern, so you can turn the Green Pendant together with Eastern. So yeah, this is a nice pals play. We know that he's going to find a couple of the big keys he needs out of here. Gonna be done with the pod in a minute.
I do think it's a little bit interesting not doing Swamp first, because after Swamp you can just run over and jump into Ice Palace. Whereas after Ice Palace, you're either going to have to mirror and then run up somewhere else or save and quit to go back to Swamp. It's a minor thing.
I just realized Ice Palace is our other red crystal, so there's that.
Oh, great point.
Reading those things, I'm starting to wonder where our logical lamp is, because currently it's locking our entire Death Mountain access and a variety of loose end items, and I'm curious where it's at. Unless Flutes are logical mountain access, in which case, where's that?
Well, the Tower of Hera Big Key was one of the first 2 checks in TR, yes? Or am I mixing that up?
First 2 checks of TR, correct. No, that was the right side, the fire lock.
Right, so the lamp could just be in Pyramid Fairy.
No, because you need mountain access to get to TR.
Oh, yeah, because the flute would have to be someplace obvious. Good shout.
Last couple items here in Eastern is a possibility, because the Eastern Big Key was an Ice Palace, and you do have logical access to that without a lamp, I believe.
Yep.
There's our cape for our Swamp Big Chest, which that's now a thing, I guess. Okay, game.
Yeah, hopefully Yuki does not go fetch that, hoping it's TR or something. Because they still need the TR and the theme's big. That could, to them, that could just be, oh, good, that's one of them.
Yeah. But he doesn't, because Yuki doesn't know that his TR and Thieves Bigs are on the mountain, which he needs to get back to. We know Lava Chest can't have the lamp either, because mountain access again. Those are the last 2 checks. Those are possibilities. Desert Big Key was in. We're just generally running out of checks, because the 2 runners have done most of the game between them, as there's the Eastern Big Sky. Yuki got his Master Sword. Oh, there's the flute! Never mind things. Okay. I believe that's no mode for us.
Yep.
And Yuki got his Master Sword from left side swamp. Which Scott, with his current routing, should be able to pick up on his way through Swamp Palace, I hope. So he is only a flute from Go mode, so I wonder if he will choose to gamble skipping that check. We don't know where our Butter Sword is. Decent chances in GT at this point. We know that Yuki will have temper, because, we'll likely have. Well, I'm not sure it's guaranteed he's tempered, but his tempered sword's unleashed, so I think there's a chance he'll check that anyway, just for the quick items, even though he will be in Go mode by then.
Yeah, I think the problem for Yuki here is they're probably going to take this flute and go knock out Desert and Meyer, searching for the last 2 big keys they need, whereas if they would just go to the mountain would get them, whereas Sky, by the time they get their flute, is going to be in Go mode and just will be able to Go mode those items or those dungeons.
Yeah, you're right. Where's he going first, though? Ledge.
Yeah.
Which makes a lot of sense. He knows that's a big key there, and he's going to be very unhappy to see that it's a Swamp Big. Now, although Yuki also has seen the Big Key on the floating island, so I wonder if that might push him out a little faster. Since he now knows, he will know in a second that it has to be a required Big Key. Because he's gotten all of the unrequired Big Keys after this, we know to be a Swamp Big. And somewhere along the way between the map checks and our 2 runners, we now know that Desert is our final pendant. Tubular tracker. And there is the big key to Palace for Yuki. And let's see where he flees to. Unsurprisingly, this is unfortunately Desert Mire. Cape Paragon was on the eastern main chest. With all that said, pleased to give both our runners a fellow Yuki and Sky, my co-comp Talon, and our tracker Scoopula, as well as our restreamer Ricky. Thank you all for helping out with the restream. And next game, small key here, which is the 1, 2. Okay, there's our 4th TR small.
I think the crazy thing here is, too, we've only seen one small key to GT.
That's a good point, actually, yeah. It's kind of impressive at an hour and 19 we've only found one of them.
They're possibly screaming to our runners, there can't be anything there, we don't have any keys to get anything anyway.
Yuki can run straight to Landmost and then go back for the big chest, I assume here, which makes sense in case that's a big key. He knows he's in go mode because he knows one of his 2 remaining big keys is on the floating island. Actually, no, he doesn't know that one of his remaining big keys is on the floating island because he's also missing because he's missing 3 big keys on the mountain, one of which is the unrecorded Ice Palace big key. So he doesn't know that that's it because the item, the big key on floating island, isn't that one. Oops. 2 and 3 chance for him right now that is one of his recorded big keys. Sky is not in go mode. He needs to get his flute from the Armless Knights in Eastern to be in go mode. Yuki needs the TR big off the floating island and the D-Sound big key from the Super Bunny Cave. Because Yuki's first problem an hour and 20 minutes in.
I'm trying to do it mentally in my head, and you might be better at keeping track of where items were than I was, even with the sheet. Is it possible the lamp's in the swamp big chest?
Um...
Because the cape was in the eastern big, but the eastern big was in ice, which you don't need the lamp to get. All the items to get into Swamp Palace weren't lamp locked.
Yeah, the lamp might be in
That's
there,
so gross!
That would be gross. Swamp Big is on the bumper ledge, and Sky knows it is there. He has gotten every other big key in the game and knows there is a big key on that ledge. We are running out of locations for that.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Like, we've seen most of our fetch quests, it's not the pad, and seen most of our fetch quests, it's not the pad, it could be anyway with TR being a pendant. We know it's not either tablet. We've seen the water checks, we've seen smith chains, catfish. I've seen most of our dungeons. Most of our mountain items are in logic now as well, since that flute was apparently our logical mountain access the rate we're looking right now. This one is Fill 'All Dungeons Key Sanity Bartender. 'Cause the key is from the Swamp Big, but the Eastern Big was in ice, which you don't need the lamp to get. All the items to get into Swamp Palace weren't lamp locked. Yeah, So it's all dungeons, it's key sanity, but the Castle Tower small keys and the Gans Tower big key are... the Castle Tower small keys are vanilla, and the Gans Tower big key is in its own dungeon. With a little bit of annoying hunts for those couple items. Here's pendant number 2 for Sky. He did rush the back without doing left side swamp being one item from Gomo. So he goes back in for his tempered. And he does. Okay, good. A little bit of efficiency loss here for Sky, though it makes sense, and then it is good for Yuki.
Right, because all Sky is looking for now is the flute, and they, for all they know, could be here. I could see the argument made for just rushing your dungeon, Eastern. Well, with only 2 checks left in Eastern, maybe, yeah, that's why that does seem a little more concentrated to do this.
Yeah. It's also that if you don't do this, you're not coming. It's gonna be annoying to get back here. Yeah, so we're looking at a fairly close race so far. I'm not really nothing very much as to who's ahead. Yuki will be able to skip some amount of checks in TR though, since he will be in go mode before he gets in the door. We'll see if he does choose to get his tempered off laser bridge. Silvers and Goldsword are both probably in GT. But because Yuki has a few minutes left in Spire, thanks for last Skullwood Small. And then Yuki needs to reclimb the mountain and get his Thieves and TR big keys in go mode, then go beat TR and Thieves. Sky is gonna finish left side swamp shortly. There's his tempered, and then he's got Eastern Desert and Mire to finish on his end. So I think Sky might have something of a lead here. I'm not sure by how much. There's our second GT small. Since we never have found that lamb, Yuki having a just in time in their dark rooms here in Mire. Our third GT small and our second ice small.
Ice small, not doing anyone any favors.
Nope.
I do like the heads up play to go ahead and check that on the way to the Eastern area.
And for Bombstrats on Biddy. Bob's and Kate, it looks like. Going to be a slower fight. Sky will be able to save some time with Tempered, but this is pretty quick so far for Yuki with that cape. No. And Biddy standby spite.
Yeah, Kate putting in the work there.
And there's our
pot
6.
Yay.
Thanks. I really hope he just goes up the mountain instead of chasing whatever overworld checks he has left, like Pyramid Fairy. Or Sick Kid, because he did just find a bottle on Landmouse. Okay, good. This is going to be Yuki and Go mode in like 3 or 4 minutes here. His Go mode items are a Thieves Town Big Key and Super Bunny Cave and the TR Big Key on Floating Island, which he has peaked already. He doesn't know for sure that it is a required Big Key because the Ice Palace Big Key is in the Hookshot Cave, which is probably why he put this off a little longer than I perhaps might have liked myself, but he'll be in Go mode shortly. And Sky will also be in Go mode pretty quick because his Go mode's a fleet on Landmouse here.
Yeah, the advantage Sky is going to have is just being able to rush right to the end of Mire, and that's going to be worth quite a bit of time, unfortunately. Whereas Yuki is going to have to go back down the mountain. Luckily, the Thieves Town Big was relatively early in TR, so hopefully he'll be able to skip a little bit, but we also know the sword on Laser Bridge. Actually. Oh, that's right. That's right. They'll have it before they even go into TR. Do you make the argument, then, just to go back down the mountain now? Before coming up and finishing up TR?
Maybe, actually. I mean, you have to do it in some order, unfortunately, for Yuki.
Yeah, I think you do. I think you just, as soon as you mirror and grab that key, you just flute right then. Why not?
It would make sense. Okay, so Sky is going to hit Go mode. Yuki, I think, just doing these checks looking for his sword. Because, yeah, this Go mode for Sky, and Yuki will be in Go mode for the second. He knows that he now knows that his TR Big Key has to be on Floating Island because he just found his second to last Big Key, but I guess he has Tempered or Silvers there, which makes sense for Hookshot Cave. Just finish the last couple chests. Very close Go mode indeed for them, and Yuki is going to do TR first. I believe both runners will be. So how both runners will route Aga Tower is likely that they're going to do GT, find themselves on top of the pyramid after Aga 2, and then just and do Aga Tower there, and then go to G Cannon afterwards and teach you how you route it. How you route Aga Tower when you don't need to do it earlier in an AD key seed. Activated for Sky. And Yuki is going to save time running through TR as well. He's going to skip. He's never going to find that Hero Big on Fire Route Lock checks. He's going to skip in the cave. He's going to skip the big chest. Still going to be a bit of a run, but he can skip some checks in here. So I don't know if he'll do for that Tempered, because Tempered versus Master Sword is a big difference in terms of offense.
It's probably one of the bigger differences in the game, but yeah, having all the keys ahead of time can squib quite a lot in this if they want to.
Yeah.
Or check more, I guess.
Yeah. I guess this one's relatively quick. I would be surprised if he does his, I would be surprised if he does right side checks though, and he's gonna go just
that might have been a little bit of muscle memory too.
Yeah. Winner of this is going to face Jason in some eyes. Hey, Robin Chat. Yep, that's me. I do in fact like to commentate ALttPR as well as OTR and Zelda Rando. The Tempered Sword, sorry, for Yuki is on this bridge doing chain jumps as well, which was where he doesn't want.
Yeah, we already see the benefit for Sky having Already having the keys in the go mode, being able just to route right through the rest of Mire. Dark Mire is always super fun. Everyone's favorite thing to do.
Absolutely.
Nice strat, just to go down to the door and then throw the block up.
He is going to go the long way around for TR Big Chest, really hoping for a sword here, it looks like. I hope he realizes he's in go mode at least. Saw an extra mark on his personal tracker.
Yeah, I gotta think they're just playing for the sword here.
Yeah. So if he is checking these checks, he should find Tempered.
Yeah, I think my earlier call was right. I think Lamp has to just be sitting in. That's so dumb.
Yeah, I think it is one Big Chest. It cannot be in GT. Thought was a crystal, and we do logically need Lamp for Helma, so there's really not much else left in the game for it.
Could you imagine a seed where Lamp is just in GT and it not be a cross key seed? That would be messed up. I think there's too many dark areas that might not even be possible. Well, no, it could happen, right? If
I mean, this seed is close to it. I think Helma's about the only thing hard Lamp locked in this seed. I'm all in. Okay, TR, but that isn't dependent.
Well, Mire's a crystal, but yeah.
And Mire's a crystal, I guess. So yeah, if you'd swatch those two with, I guess, Swamp Monster, this one might have been possible. Yeah, you'd have to have TR, Mire, and Pop dependence.
That would be just crazy. So
and I guess,
he's gonna pick Laser Bridge. Yeah, this is gonna give them the sword I think they're hunting for.
Yeah, and oh yeah, I guess we do have still one dungeon left before Sky goes to GT, but
yeah,
I guess we
settle
do now
down.
have several crystals. There we go. Alright, chat, put that in chat. With the command exclamation mark bet, where do you think this GT may be used? There are 22 locations in Gan's Tower's basement. One of those 22 locations has a Gan's Tower Big Key. Find the number if you want to 22. Where is it?
I'll go with my normal 9 for no other reason than 9.
Mine's 14, also for no particular reason. Both runners going to finish off the boss of their respective dungeons here about the same time, probably, but Yuki is going to be, it looks like, a Thieves' Town plus Reclimb of Mountain behind, so it's going to need Sky to have some unfortunate luck here, it looks like, to be able to pull this back.
Nice double pendant grab from our runners.
Yep. Bet close will enter, and once Sky enters GT, and since Sky will be our first runner into GT, the count will be based on his order in GT and not Yuki's. Well, that's a misinfo for Yuki. I don't know why he just flew to Link's house. He needs to go here for these now.
Probably some nervous fingers, I would guess. Who among us has not flew into the wrong place?
What potion does Sky have? Should have a green. I don't think he used the one they picked up from it. Well, he did just pick one up from Landros, I think, so that should be fine.
Oh, what color potion did Lambo drop? I must have missed it.
I think it was a green.
Oh, so double green, nice. So lots of fire rod, you're saying?
I think we've gotten 2 greens and a B, I think was the other one.
Yeah,
Yuki has a B and a green.
Yeah, the B and the green, I remember seeing the third one I didn't. With no half magic, again, I mean, bread mail, you're pretty well covered on your health, but we'll definitely take that extra magic.
Yeah. Yuki does have the Thieves' Town spell. Remember, though, I don't need to go to get the key in from the pot. I can just run straight through.
Nice heads-up play. Muscle memory being a thing can sometimes get in the way of that, but...
Does catch himself, so that's good. And the game is now closed. That's also a point from chat that Sky is a grand sum of 8 arrows.
So plenty. Just enough.
Checks number 1 and 2. Double red rupee. Thanks!
Not checking Tyler, I'm surprising no one. Whoa, that was close. Iframe's doing some work there. Almost getting the wall mastered. Alright, Sky, I know I said you had a lot of life, but you're not immortal. Careful.
Yeah, 3, 4, 5, and 6 is a load of nothing. There's the maidens pick up for Yuki. Checking that chest, I guess Yuki silvers or gold sort of there.
Yeah, don't blame him, you're right there, that's fine.
And check number 7 is bombs. $8 is the heart container, 9 is 20 bucks. 10 is half magic, and 11 is our fire shield.
Yeah, welcome find with that half magic, I would bet.
Sure. And that is Yuki's 7 crystal, an hour 40 in. Check number 12 looked like nothing. Silvers are probably in GT. We've seen almost everything else in the game between the two runners. There's not much left for it. $13 is our butter sword. Is 10 arrows, 15 is the big key, and we're out of here after, I guess, one last check for silvers. So let's see who wins that one. Ricky is in charge of the bet today. Zach512 wins the bet there, looks like, with 15. Congratulations. No shovel found? Nope. Probably also in the rest of GT. We haven't cleared the seed, but full cleared the seed between these two. This has still been a decently quick Sviatki seed for our runners. Sky starting his climb at an hour 42 as Yuki enters GT.
Yeah, that's a great time for Sky so far. 142 in your go mode running up GT, that's not bad at all.
Yeah. Here's to see how Yuki routes GT here. So we'll also go right side, so probably gonna do a pretty similar routing to Sky. Does not do tile room, good for him.
Well, it's a small short hop from that second one, but a great phase one. Able to finish him off with a nice butter sword shot. Yuki decided to take the pretty much the same route that Sky did. Will be coming upon their key here shortly. As Sky gets closer to the top.
Yep. Somehow I actually muted myself. Hope I wasn't too silent for too long.
Nah, just watch them go through the motions. Our runners have probably done this climb more than a couple times, so muscle memory just taken over.
It assumes so. We are, after all, at the semifinals of the Challenge Cup. Semifinals, quarterfinals. The next round is summarized. And we'll learn who's down for Sky.
Nice.
Nice shovel game. And there's Butter Sword, sorry for you, keep mixing up my checklist bitch. The silver is very well could be on that shovel spot. We have seen most in this game. And there's the big key for Yuki.
Nice
Very
triple.
nice triple. Just a single that time. Naka not two not playing nice.
Yeah, we'll
Yeah,
take a
triple two.
recycle though. Pretty great.
Yeah. Now we just need to do Aka Tower and then Ganon. No lamp, but they've got plenty of health. Red Mill, half magic, butter, they're fine.
And if this was me, I'd be pulling up a map of the dark rooms right about now.
Or could that lamp be where you think it's probably in the Swamp Palace
A
big chest?
swamp big chest. I'm telling you, it's gotta be. There's no way it's anywhere else.
We've seen everything else in the game.
We had, yeah, the swamp small was in the Stalfos room of Pod or something like that. It was early in Pod. Hookshot was in Pod.
No, the literal first chest of Pod, which is...
Oh, that's right, torches.
And Hookshot was U room of Pod, which you can get with Fire Rod.
Yep.
The
Hammer was in Kakariko super early.
Flippers are K45, Mirror was front of Skull Woods, that's all fine.
Yep, Cave was in the Eastern Big Chest. The big key for Eastern was in Ice Palace. It works in a crazy, ugly way. And I love it.
It's dumb. We have seen both tablets, they were both completely forgettable, no clue what they were.
It was like $20 and a piece of heart or something, or 10 arrows. Yeah, they were not.
I think it might have been arrows with a pen or something, and there was not much of anything memorable. You know that was a compass on the pet, because you were discussing what that meant for a second there.
Yep. Gold sword.
Not that it could be on the
easy
pet
work with
anyway.
the guards.
And yes, we did check the Lumberjack Ledge, it's not there either, so it could be anyway. Lumberjack Ledge was 3 bombs today.
Yep.
I also think we have seen just about every single small key and all the big keys in the game.
Yeah, if this was some kind of terrible plando that was forced logic only, this would be such a long seed.
Yeah, no kidding. Alright, how many blue balls do you want to see?
0. They've suffered enough. Come on. You've
Lamp
done all the
cannot be in
hard work.
Pyramid
Just let them
Fairy.
have them.
Lamp can't be in Pyramid Fairy, we saw it from Sky, it was... Oh yeah. Like, when I say they checked everything, I mean it. They checked everything.
I don't think there's a check we haven't seen at this point. I really don't.
Me
There's,
neither.
I mean, the shovel, obviously, but we've done
That was a
everything else.
GT, and we can't. It can't be the shovel for. It can't be the shovel for Lamp. It could be the shovel for Silvers.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I mean, there's a couple things we didn't see, quote-unquote. We didn't see Ice Armos, we didn't see the GT Big Chest or Tolerum, anything silly like that.
There's a shovel for Yuki, then a blue ball for Sky.
Yeah, the story of this race really comes down to Sky getting those mitts early. Out of logic in Zelda Cell, and then being able to use that to route the mountain a little bit better, which routed their dungeons at the end more efficiently. That's basically it.
I think so, because they've both played well. They've both routed really well with the items they had. It's just that unfortunately Yuki didn't Uncle Star, and that just didn't pay off the seed. But that's rando wins for you.
Yeah, even forgetting to do like the Pod Big Chest, which had nothing, and Helma, which had nothing, and having to go back into that dungeon a second time really didn't cost much because they did it on the way to Eastern. It was a little time, but it wasn't like a major detriment. It really came down to those mitts.
Pretty much, because they're basically in Aka Tower apart now. Sky jumping down the hole right as Yuki lands on top of the pyramid. Did you find the arrows in my tower? Thanks, Cannon, as expected.
Yeah, I've never seen that message before. Crazy. But Sky in phase 4 are gonna do some spin to win. Half magic, 2 bottles. No real fear of running out of magic here.
No. Just needs to not fall.
Yeah, echoing chat. That was a nice slash to get him on that transition. And there we go.
And it's going to be GG's to Sky here, finishing up and moving on to the semifinals of the Challenge Cup with an official time of 1:52.23.
And with that, our semifinal is set. It will be Sky and Kazen. And
Speaking of Sky, he is now joining us in the interview. GG.
GG.
Pretty interesting, quick haul dungeons, relatively. A lot better than my last one. I'll take it.
Yeah, he said in the race time I saw that your last one was 201 collection rate. Ouch. Yuki, GG.
GG.
GG's.
For those that are wondering, we are running on the 10-minute delays. Sky's been done for 10 minutes, Yuki a little less, and so we will have them both in for interview. GG's, Yuki.
I'm currently entering Swamp Palace to see if that's where the lamp's at.
Yes! That's my guy!
Between the two of you, we think you guys have done every check in the game, and that's the only logical place left for it.
Well, we're about to find out. I can confirm it's in the big chest.
Oh, good, because I just thought of that. We didn't see the ice big chest.
That was it.
Yep, not surprised.
Yes!
Our trackers could feel like quite happy in chat. They called it earlier.
Yeah, we were crunching some serious numbers earlier trying to figure out what that thing had to be. It's wonderful.
Yeah, because you guys did a lot. You guys did pretty much the entire scene between you two. Looking for, well, big keys, I think, mostly.
Mostly, yeah.
I think the only thing I skipped would have been Northern Dark World, like Graveyard Ledge and Catfish. And then obviously I didn't get the big key either. I had to go back for that after.
Right, yeah, the Swamp Big Key off Bumper Ledge.
Yeah.
So as Yuki now goes to Ganon, on the free stream here, really the biggest divergence between the two of you and the one that ended up making the difference, it happened right at the start of the race. You started at the Sank Sky, Yuki started at the Uncle, and didn't have weaponry for the front of escape, so those mids had to be very, very late for Yuki, unfortunately, and that's what made the difference in this race.
Yeah, that makes sense. I'm normally an Uncle router myself, but this time with it being AD keys, I just kind of felt like I wanted the Houlihan money, which is why I went to Sync first.
Makes sense.
Old school key sanity routing from like 2018.
I don't tend to adapt my routing to the game, the mode I play, and that might be one of my downsides.
Yeah, because that was the thing, is the mids really didn't block anything right off the bat, but it really came down to how you could route the mountain the first time you went up there. And being able to get the TR big and then also the Thieves Town big on first trip made routing the rest of the world easier, and then go-moding Meyer made a lot of the difference in time.
Yeah, and also, ouch, it just like all there on Ganon Yuki. At least it did make a difference in this race, but that always is a feels bad. But yeah, because Yuki ended up full clearing Meyer, full clearing, doing like things like Desert Big Chest. Did do North Dark World as well. Did not go back in for the Swamp Big Chest at least, and just kind of added up a little bit over time.
Thought about doing Northern Dark World before going up the mountain, but there was just so many more items on the mountain, and I was like, I'll just go out there and see what's there. Couldn't believe my eyes at all those TR keys.
Right.
Right. Is there like they have everything for TR except for keys, and never mind that.
Yeah, we were also commenting toward the end, like, man, they just need a couple big keys and a flute, right? And then go to Ice Palace, and oh, there's all your big keys.
And then they certainly got Narma Space, and it's like, well, never mind that, we're good.
Yuki, one thing I did want to ask is when you went into Pod after getting the bow from Vu, you had the option to just beat the dungeon and check the big chest and didn't. Was that just oops, I forgot, or was there something behind that?
No, I pretty sure I thought I didn't have the big key.
Okay, that's what we were afraid of.
Because we were wondering about that. Scopula did Pod a little bit after you did, and so we knew not Scopula, that's a tracker. Sky, wrong name. Sky did Pod a little after you did, and double checked the big chest and helmet for us. So thankfully, those were nothing for you, Yuki.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess I'm just used to enter Pod without the big key the first time, and after, I think it was a couple of minutes after I left the dungeon, I was like, wait a minute, did I find the big key after my trip there, or did I had it already and I just zapped it completely? And I guess that answers the question.
Yeah.
Nice slash fight against Ganon, Yuki. That was pretty well done.
Thanks, you.
Yeah.
GG.
And LBGG to Yuki as well, finishing up on restream with an official race time GG time of 1:28.21. But yeah, Seed was an interesting one. Gave you a lot of items early. No bottles for an hour was sort of funny, but it was pretty generous on items. Really just came down to where are those big keys was the end game. Or Vicky's flute.
Yeah.
Yeah, I felt like it was going pretty nicely. At the beginning, I was really wondering where the scene wanted me to go, and I figured with the Iroh's small key that there must have been something there. And yeah, after the myths, it just like was one dungeon after the other while cleaning everything on the way to the next one. But yeah, I guess not having them on my first trip on the mountain was probably a bit loss of time.
For me, early on, it was got the book, got the desert small key. I was like, there has to be something useful in desert, so I took a beeline for it pretty early.
Yeah.
You both did. It's hard to ignore when Saha gives you the Desert Small, the book, and the boots.
Right.
Yeah, Saha provides in this scene. That was crazy.
Yeah, it's like, game, really? Like, that was just a big arrow pointing straight to desert.
Right.
Which is good for Yukikaze, because it sent you, as you know, as Dark World axes, but fortunately for Yuki, it did push him further away from those myths, so... but that's how it goes, just sometimes, unfortunately.
Yep. Still made it further than the last time I participated in the Challenge Cup, so yay.
It's always
It gets
good, yeah.
harder every year, I think.
There's been some real competition this year, some really close races. You will be moving on to semifinals. Sky, you'll be facing off against Keystone next. Any thoughts?
Well, I'll have to do some labbing, but I don't know. I feel pretty prepared. Pretty excited. I've never made it this far in a tournament ever, so it feels pretty nice.
Yeah, both of our semifinal matches really hyped, so both will be definitely ones to watch.
Yeah, because we've got Alex Jess versus next. Never quite sure how to pronounce that. On the other side of the semi, so it should be a good match. So it should be some good matches to watch. And unfortunately for Yuki, this is the end of the Challenge Cup for you. Any thoughts?
That was a fun ride. I'm a little sad I didn't get to play more Fat Keys, but yeah, no, like I said, I was one round further than last time. Well, actually, I think there was even one more round, because I think the top 16 was already on round 5 2 years ago when I made it.
It might be right. I don't quite remember either offhand.
Yeah, top 8 is still great, and I'll be able to put all my energy into the French tournament. So
Yeah, because those groups just started a week ago themselves.
Yep. Thank you.
Awesome.
And good luck, Sky, for the rest of the tourney.
Yeah, thank you.
Break a leg.
Definitely try.
With this said, I think I'm out of questions. Looks like Chad has nothing else to say, and I think it's about time to wrap up.
Alright then. I want to thank our runners. Thank you to darkened5ky and Yukikaze. Thank you to our commentators Star and Talon, and to our tracker Scoopula. I put everyone's links in the chat. Please give everyone a follow. That's going to do it for ZSR tonight. There's nothing on the schedule for Monday yet, but I'm sure we're going to get the semifinals, Challenge Cup matches up during the week, so keep an eye on that. But for now, Tuesday, 9 p.m. Eastern, we have a Wind Waker Randomizer Mini Blins Tournament, Group Feor Grand Finals Game 1, between Pix and Tweety, and if needed, they'll be doing a Game 2 on Thursday at the very same time, 9 p.m. Eastern. So keep an eye on the schedule for that. With that, we're going to go and sign off here. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. Hope you had a wonderful time, and have a fantastic rest of your day. Bye!
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks, everyone.